Hi, and thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this, then I bet it's because you're looking for solutions to some of those pesky problems you've encountered when trying to give your Access applications that professional touch. Now, you already know what business logic you want in there, probably already got it in there, but what about all those little extra plumbing processes, like, say, setting properties and options to secure your application, or being able to kick everyone out and force a shutdown so you can fix something, or maybe you just want to hide the Access MDI so only your forms and reports are visible, or even yet enforcing the use of the runtime mode regardless of the version of Access that's installed. That's right, you can even enforce the use of runtime mode. Let's face it, some of these things are too involved to be solved by just a few lines of code that you find in a code snippet or a forum post, and you certainly won't find these kind of answers in a book. Well, to solve these kind of problems, experienced Access developers have what they call an Access application shell file or template that has all of their plumbing processes pre-coded, so all they have to do is add the business logic. The problem is, they have the code to do this, but you don't. But you can get the code to do everything you're about to see in this video and then some. So pay attention for the next few moments because I'm going to cover this quickly, and at the end of the video, I'll tell you where you can go to download the code. So, let's start out with our application shell as a tabbed document application showing the ribbon, the navigation pane, and the main form. Our main form is a fully customizable table-driven switchboard with a list of currently logged in users displayed at the bottom. We also have a customizable user and permission system for controlling user access to the switchboard items and application parts, as well as developer-only maintenance and test features. In the developer section, we have a user's permission and rights table which you can use in your code and customize any way you want. We also have a switchboard items management table with predefined actions that you can customize. In the administrator section, we have a customizable users table authorization system that gets the user's login name from the computer system and looks up their information in the customizable users table, so you can use it in your code processing. There is also an application user log that shows you who used the application and when. Note that we capture the user's computer machine name, which can be very helpful as the machine name is usually the only way you can identify users listed in your lock file. You also get a forced system shutdown, but we'll cover that at the end of the video. Another very popular feature that developers like to have is being able to run application cleanup code when the application closes, even if the user X's out. Now this would be simple if users would always use your custom quit button, but what if they X out using the forms close button or the Access Windows close button, or even worse yet, they go down to the taskbar and try to close with the icon. Even if they close your application this way, not only has our cleanup code logged us out of the application, but since I'm a developer, I get access to the developer's security settings screen. Developer Rights gives you the Properties and Options security screen, so you can mix and match the built-in and custom properties and options of your application shell template. Many of Access's built-in properties and options are on the left-hand side, including a switch for showing or hiding the ribbon. The built-in properties and options probably don't need any explanation, as most Access developers are already familiar with them. However, on the right-hand side, we have some popular custom features, such as a customizable versioning system that places the version in the application title so your users can tell immediately what version they have. Or you can set the compact on close property to run only when the file reaches a certain preset limit. You can also enforce the runtime mode operation even if running a file with full Access installed. If you like, you can show or hide the Access application MDI window using either of two techniques. At the bottom, you can add your own custom quick set button so you can quickly set your favorite setting combinations. This makes it real easy to see what combinations of built-in and custom settings provide your app with the most functionality for the best security. Each setting has its own help description to help you understand what it does. And there's a help description editor so you can keep up with changes as necessary. At the very bottom of the form, we have two buttons, one for saving our settings and quitting, another one for hiding the form so we can go in and continue to do work such as coding and other changes that we might want to make. You can go in and just do your regular developing processes that you want to do. To get the form back, just simply go and close out, and your form comes back. Now for demonstration purposes, we're going to go with a maximize MDI and set default settings, and all we're going to do is just set to hide the ribbon and hide the navigation pane. We're going to show you how we fix two problems such as hiding the ribbon and how to re-hide the navigation pane whenever you link a table. Now with our two settings, we will just simply save and quit and then go back into the application. The security settings form also has some built-in notices so you can know exactly what needs to be done and when, and whether or not you want to set that setting. Okay, let's open our shell file with our shortcut. Since I'm registered as a developer, I get the choice to go in a different access level for testing purposes. No one but developers get this. Let's keep it at developer for right now. As you can see, we've hidden the ribbon and navigation form. Now let's go to our table linking form. First, we need to select an access source file. Then we need to select a few tables to link. But before we link them, let's disable the code that rehides the navigation pane so we can see what normally happens without this code. So let's go ahead and link our tables. And as you can see, the navigation pane pops open. This is not what we want to have happen. All we can do now is just minimize it, but we can't hide it again. Now let's reactivate our code that hides the navigation pane and let's relink. As you can see, now the navigation pane is completely hidden again. And no matter how many times we link, it stays hidden. Now let's go all the way and see the really cool stuff. We're going to exit out to our security settings form. And this time we're going to go for the maximum. We're going to secure everything. We get the warning for the document window, which has been set to hide the MDI. So now we can't have tabbed documents since we don't have the MDI. So the document window option has been changed to overlapping. We get a warning about disabling the bypass key. Are we sure we want to disable it? Yes, we do. We're getting a warning about runtime mode. We're fixing to set runtime mode only. Are we sure we want to enforce the runtime mode? Yes. Then we get our warning about setting the MDI to off-screen mode. Now there's a difference between off-screen mode and hidden mode, and I'll discuss that a little bit later. But are we sure we want to go to off-screen? Yes, we do. The only exception that we're going to make to full security is we are going to allow shortcut menus for demonstration purposes. Now that we've got our settings set, let's go ahead and save and quit. Now that we've got our app locked down, let's go in as administrator using full access and see what happens. We're going to select administrator. As you can see, it's stopping us. It says it's not being operated in runtime, and what it's going to do is kick us out. Now let's try going in the runtime mode using our shortcut with the runtime switch. I'm going to go in as administrator, and as you can see, it goes in, opens just fine for us. So let's go ahead on out, and this time we're going to go in as a developer in full access. We're going to go in as a developer, and as you can see, we get the notice that we're supposed to be in enforced runtime, but as a developer we have the option to go ahead and run it in full access. Do we want to continue? Yes, we do. As you can see, we have our version and our application name in the title bar of the switchboard, and if we look for it, we cannot find the MDI anywhere. It's hidden completely. You don't see it anywhere on the screen. Now let's open a few forms and reports. This is a non-centering form. As usual, under normal circumstances, your forms stay in the top left-hand corner, and they don't stay in the center. But another piece of technology that you get is a self-centering form, which stays in the center as you resize it, even if you maximize it. And it does not shrink below the minimum size, so you can keep it there. Now let's open a few more forms and reports. We're going to open a data sheet housing a table. We're going to open a report, And we're going to open another form that demonstrates a feedback system. Since we don't have the status bar of our MDI, we need to be able to tell the user what's going on. You also get a feedback system for that purpose. And this is just a little fun form. It's a random number generator that you can play with just for fun. But we'll put this to the side. Now, as you can see, all of our windows are individually selectable. You do not get this when you use the Windows API to hide your MDI. You have to set all your forms and reports to modal. All the windows have to be modal, which means you can only play with one at a time, and you have to close it before you can go on to the next one. You'll also notice that we have the taskbar icon available to us. This is another thing that you don't get if you use the Windows API to hide the MDI. Let's bring our switchboard forward, our main form, and you can minimize, restore, minimize. You cannot do this if you use the Windows API to hide your MDI. Now, what about right-clicking menus? Let's go ahead and right-click on a form. As you can see, we seem to have everything here, but what about design view? We don't want them going to design view, but if we click design view, you see nothing happens. We've been able to disable design view. You'll also see how you can do that. Now finally, as promised, let's go ahead and force a shutdown of our application. We'll go to Administrator Maintenance. We'll go to the Shutdown system. As you can see, you can set your shutdown on a schedule, or you can set it to go off immediately by simply checking the immediate box. We'll go ahead and set it for shutdown immediately. This is a form that is not bound. We don't want to transmit any indications of a shutdown until we're ready. So we set the forms, we click Validate and Close. Goes through your settings that you've set and tells you what you've got and make sure that it's what you want. And if it is, then you can go ahead and click Yes. And now every front end that's monitoring this linked table, the conditions in this linked table, is going to pick up the fact that you want to shut down. And there it is. That's what your users see. They get this indication that a shutdown is in effect. They can close this down, and they can go and start closing up their application however they want to. Just go ahead and shut down. Now, what if we're away from our computer? What happens? Let's see what happens. Just ignore it for a minute. We've gone away. The command shutdown is in effect. See what happens. There you go. We're shut down. It kicked everybody out. That's the way it works.
Before I forget, here's some additional bonuses listed below. Now, if you want to get the documentation and Access solution you just saw, go to the website shown below and look for the Access Application Shell download in the Show Me How series. And don't forget to be on the lookout for our other downloads in this series. We've got a few more of them coming, and please feel free to let us know if there's something you'd like to see. Until next time, bye-bye.